All right, shoulders back, posture up. It's time for the final segment of the evening. It's night 2, day 34 of E3 in 2018. I'm Jeff Gerstmann. We've got another batch of fantastic guests. That's right. We've got from Game Informer magazine, editor-in-chief Andy MacNamara. Andy, how you doing?
Hello, I'm doing great, Jeff.
It's great to see you.
It's amazing to see you.
Yeah. Kahlief of Spawn on Me. How's it going back there?
Good, Jeff. How you been?
I'm been doing real good.
Show's all right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm still here. It's been going good. I didn't run away. There were a lot of cops here earlier.
Oh.
I don't know. They were busting into a room down there.
Literally, the Popo was here.
Literally, it was messed up.
You let us know if they're
I
back.
should check this room out too to make sure it was all clear.
No. I was just we just closed all the doors.
A quiet place.
Danny O'Dwyer's here.
What's up?
Of NoClip fame.
Yes, I guess.
Yes.
Yes, it's been 20 months now.
Maryland's own.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Now you know why I
Maryland.
fucking moved there.
Because it's like
Sneak into Todd Harrod's bedroom and whisper in his ear, "Tell me your secrets, motherfucker."
You incepted Todd Howard.
Did.
Wow.
Yeah.
wow, that's that Patreon lifestyle.
Can live on the edge.
Yeah, there are no rules. And at Waypoint, we've got Austin Walker.
No
How you doing?
rules. Yeah. When's the last time you talked to a cop?
When was the last time I talked to a cop? I muttered to one under my breath that was on a motorcycle out in front of our hotel today.
You're all right. All right. That's good.
Patrick Klepek is here.
I'm wondering if we can change it to Ziv Davis underneath name.
Yeah, no, they're hiring.
Give me another 12 months.
All right.
We'll work it out.
Okay.
Look at
Trying to
his-
figure out
look at
next
his
steps,
pants.
you know.
Yeah.
Look at his pants.
How did I'm the, what do they call it?
I heard pegging.
Yeah, no. Peg pants are-
What?
That's what I heard.
That's different.
Okay, they're
Klepek.
pegged pants. They're pegged
Patrick Klepek is a
pants.
pegging enthusiast, and it shows.
But I did those pants, which would mean that I pegged.
Yeah, absolutely. Danika Harrod is here.
Pegged Patrick Klepek. Got
Yeah.
it.
No. That's
Ziv Davis is starting a new vertical?
the most vertical of verticals.
Oh gosh.
It's cool. It'll last 9 months.
Oh.
I'm used to it.
Yeah, great. That's this line of work. Unless you're Andy MacNamara. Andy, you...
The load-bearing wall of Gaines's.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what job security is like?
Yeah.
I can't decide if it's smart or stupid. That's the problem. I don't know which.
Been
it
there.
is. Yeah,
Been there.
exactly. Yeah.
It was 1992-ish? When did you start?
I started. Well, I wrote in the first magazine, which was '91.
Okay.
And I became like someone who was in charge of things in '94.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, a long time time
I was
Yeah.
2 years old.
I was 9.
I can't...
By the way, really, you guys had to do that.
My-
You gotta do that to me. Like, really?
My first E3, 9 years old. Not far off. Give it 4 more years.
Right, yeah, that's the thing, is Patrick has been in it for almost as long somehow.
E3 1998 Atlanta, so 20 years this year.
Yeah, I
20
thought I
different
got
outlets
started-
also.
Wow.
Yeah, but to be fair, you were there. When I started, you were there.
Yeah, I was 16.
You were there.
And Andy was one of the first people I met in the video game business that actually talked to me like I was a person. It was you and Tom Byron, who was at Spectrum Holobyte at
Yes,
the time.
exactly.
That was
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much it.
Yeah, that's it.
And yeah.
Well, because
and I
CES was weird. Everything else was CES, and then the video game people were like pariahs.
yeah.
So the pariahs, we were like, let's hang out.
Let's hang out.
Yeah, let's
Can
hang
you buy
out.
beer? Important questions were broached immediately, and
We got to
so
the
on.
point.
Yeah,
we got to the
point.
we
Yeah, yeah, awesome. It's great to have you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Kahlief, how's the show been going for you?
Things are good. Things are good. We're moving, trying to get things done.
Yeah.
Got a lot of stuff on the show this tour.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the main method of output here from the show? Is it just regular podcasts, kind of rapid fire type stuff?
Yeah, for this show, I mean, especially, you just have to get out as much stuff as possible as quickly as you can, which doesn't really work if you go to any parties. You go to a party, then you're just all production just shuts down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been the nice thing about starting doing this show is it keeps me on the straight and narrow, and it's just I can't go to a party. Don't even invite me to a party.
I'm
We're
pretty
gonna
sure
be
this is
here.
a party. I don't know if you knew that.
I'm drinking vodka.
Yeah. There's a FYI. FYI.
For everyone else, it's a party. Danny, you're just are you like booking more documentaries here? What's going on?
Kinda, yeah. We showed off we did a Fallout 76 thing. Last week we had like a retrospective on Bethesda, and then this week we premiered the 76 doc. But basically, we're not like filming anything. Esteban's here because he's working the Capcom booth, but we're not like. It's mostly meetings.
Nice.
It's mostly trying to fucking
Like book the next 9 documentaries.
yeah, kinda trying to get it all sorted out.
You were at the Coliseum, though, right? You debuted the thing.
Yeah, we showed it off. Thanks for the seg.
Do my best.
I was sitting on a stage with Todd Harrod and Jeff Keighley showing off. It was like showing my fucking homework. Which also sucks because like we're trying to make these docs as like this like independent like funded thing, and I was like, this is the closest it felt like. Oh, we're just part of their marketing.
That's yeah. Not gonna lie.
yeah, right.
When it rolled out, there was a part of me that was like, huh.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a fucking, and it's, you know, we
Danny O'Dwyer said no ads.
Yeah. There was a moment, Danny, I'm gonna be completely for real with you. There was a moment, I was in a chat with Jeff, and I was like, did you see this Danny thing? And then I remembered you were in that chat.
awesome. Discord will fuck you.
It'll fuck you.
Yes.
Danny never checks that chat.
True.
It's only, anyone want to play PUBG?
That's all it is.
One of the 12 PUBG Discord chats.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, whatever. Like that aside,
Yes.
it's like it's going to be trying something different, and
It's cool to get access to something that early. Like I think, it's definitely the thing that I struggled with the most on this one. Like for sure, we were talking to them as far, like way early this year. Like I saw stuff as early as February, and it was kind of like, all right, like if they're gonna give us we had the same rules we always had. They don't check anything. They don't get final cut. The only thing they get clearance on is B-roll we shoot in the studio, so none of the interviews. But like, if people who work there don't want to be in the B-roll, sure.
Yeah.
We basically, it gives us insurance to film all the off-screen, all the shit that we want, and at least we have it in the can. And if they then say we don't want that, it's like there's a negotiation happening.
Sure.
Whereas if we don't say that you can clear that shit, then every single thing we shoot, they're going to be like, no, yes.
Right.
So they don't have anything over the final say. But obviously, like both of these things are very celebratory things about a game that's not out yet. So I don't know. When you're this close to the edit, it's hard to tell if you're doing it the right way. Like we tried to squeeze them on stuff about modding, about the bugs, about all the Kotaku stuff. Like we touched on that stuff in the first doc. But I think once I go home and I've had a couple of weeks away from it, I'll see how good a job we did or how bad a job we did in relation to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally. That's been a whole fucking weird. part of this thing.
the rules for a lot of things are just so up in the air these days, and I think the lines are always moving, and what the audience is into and not into, and all that sort of stuff. I think it's better to try it and see how it goes.
See how it fits.
Right, well, it's you or it's going to be an influencer who is going to get first look at it
Yeah.
in much more compromised terms, right? So
And the crazy thing was we ended up like talking about the gameplay details of that game way more than they did in their own one.
Yeah.
Right.
And like I heard that like the folks who were like the leads of that series were like, fuck, there's a lot of stuff in this video. Like, we didn't know, we didn't, because no one else was talking to anyone else we were talking to.
Right.
like a police interrogation.
Yeah.
Smart. Keep them separate.
Yep.
I do Irish cop. It works out. So I think it worked out. We'll see. Like it's a balancing act, because the whole thing about this stuff is that like the minute we just end up becoming de facto PR, which like it's hard to step away from because we're making docs that are like celebrating games, right?
Sure.
So like how do you strike that balance? It's like a moving target.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's a dangerous thing. Like, I think there's people will accuse you of being a marketing arm,
Right.
but it's like, or I like video games, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
there is a fine line there that is like,
I also prefer that they do challenge you though, because that keeps you fucking honest.
yeah,
You know
well,
what I mean? So
yeah,
it's nice
you have to challenge yourself every day, right?
Yeah.
To stay honest about it, but yeah.
And this is something that obviously you come up with every single month.
Yes,
With the
yes.
cover
Yeah,
stories,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like
Right,
this was
yeah.
totally new to even at GameSpot we didn't have this level of early access. Certainly not exclusive
Well,
early access to something.
We used to.
Right.
Maybe not that early, honestly, but there was a time when the web was king.
Right.
And you got that type of stuff before publishers started realizing, like, what if we just started a YouTube channel? Right. We could run our own trailers. It'd be great.
Yeah.
We could just tell them to pre-order right there in the video, and no one will chop it off. That's the thing. They used to put out trailers, and at the end it would have here's how to pre-order, and we would chop that bit off before because that's not what we're here to do.
There was a whole 10-minute section at the end of the second doc about how to pre-order the game. Though.
Smart,
I was like, this is probably tone deaf.
10 minutes?
Yeah, some good interviews.
10
about, like,
minutes.
so what's up with
Jeez.
pre-ordering? That's big, right?
Just make sure you put like NoClip 11 into the code into the checkout on Bethesda store.
Smart.
So that Danny can, get his bread.
Gotta eat.
Keep eating. So how's Waypoint going? Still around, huh?
For now.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see. I feel like we're either going to be twice the size we are in 6 months or
Ziff Davis.
Ziff Davis. Ziff Davis 2.
Yeah.
We're going to launch a competitor. Patreon.com/Ziff Davis.
It's for all ex-Ziff Davis employees.
Yep.
Just all
If
in
you
one.
liked Ziff Davis shit, you just come through. Or,
They're wearing matching shirts. Maybe tells you.
Yeah.
didn't know.
Is that like a
It's
podcast?
It's wardrobe. But listen, Vice has all sorts of rules.
Yeah.
We have to clear this by legal. So
You can't write stories about like I took a drug and that things were crazy, but you gotta wear shirts
explicitly the
same.
same.
Well, it's a non-traditional workplace.
It is.
Yeah.
Right.
Not anymore. We changed it.
it is.
It's like we for real changed that,
It's like,
which
okay,
is wild.
now it's a traditional work.
That's right.
Okay.
Harassing.
3 articles later, we're traditional.
Nice. We smoked weed and got traditional.
I don't know why no one clicked that story.
Yeah.
God.
So, how is the show going? Is it like a ton of appointments or?
It's like, so we brought the whole team out this year. Last year we came with like half of editorial, and this year we came with everybody, which means we are actually having we're eating better than we've ever eaten.
Oh my God.
We're eating
so
like
much
local
food.
good
We're eating
food
so
instead
much.
of like garbage shit for babies.
Philippe's.
We ate Philippe's, we ate
Yes.
Bauhaus, we ate
Bauhaus.
like nothing but good shit. We tried to do Howling.
I need all of this.
Howling.
Howlin' Rays.
House
Yeah.
raised. Yeah.
It turns
chicken
out
shop.
like the show ends and you can go anywhere
You can eat when the show ends.
when the show ends.
I got a
ring
bag
things
full of
and
Cliff
shit.
bars.
Yeah, they're good too. Shit.
We're
But-
also here with an iPhone and
Yep.
almost 3 megs down.
Mm-hmm.
At our Airbnb.
One
less
up.
than one up.
One up.
Nice.
So Airbnb, what's good?
That's yeah.
What up, Ziff Davis?
What up?
Yeah.
There it is. Trying to capture the flavors.
We're doing what we
Sounds
can.
like
We're
you
doing
got
what we can with an
Patreon.
iPhone.
But I'll be honest, like I think we've seen some really great, like we've had some really great appointments. I think seeing
Surprisingly
Cyberpunk-
good E3 for an E3 that came in with like fairly modest expectations.
Yes.
The amount of games that came out going like, fuck yeah, like I'm excited for like the next 12 months.
I think I came away from a lot of stuff going like great games, weird show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Don't pay money to come to this show. This show sucks if you're a
Do
fan.
it. Don't do
Yeah.
it.
$250.
$250.
What are you gonna do?
I talked to someone
terrible
today, who was like, yeah, I came to the show and was like, well, what'd you play? He's like, I went over to the GameSpot booth and played some Fortnite.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, yeah,
on Switch or like
no.
In line to play
With
something.
Lil Yachty or
I think they just set up some kiosks over there because
Is it? Wait, is Lil Gotti working the GameSpot booth?
no? I'm just saying he was here playing Fortnite, so
Okay.
you never
Can we
know.
make that happen?
Soulja Boy was here today, so like
No.
you never know.
Soulja Boy was here.
Soulja Boy was here playing Smash.
Did he play Braid? Was
Bill
that what
Walton
he did?
was
Played
there.
Smash.
All right.
That was my favorite today. Bill Walton just strolling through.
Wait, what?
Yes, Bill Walton just strolling
At
through.
E3.
Yes.
Pick him out of the crowd.
I mean, he was,
got to
he was,
watch-
he was talking really loudly over everyone.
I got to watch Todd Harrod meet Elijah Wood.
Whoa.
I've never felt so tall in my life.
I was gonna say that's a real eye-to-eye conversation. Yeah,
What's the weather like there?
yeah. Nice.
Just dunking on both of them. Just don't even see. Just like, ah.
Yeah, our Starfield doc's never happening.
That's fine.
You already
That
got
game's never coming out. So
Oh
it's
yeah, yeah.
Andy, so what do you think of the show? You know, I think you and I are of
We
a,
talk every year.
of a
E3.
breed
Yes.
where both of us have been to every single one of these things.
I don't want to bring it up, but yes, we have. We've
yeah.
been to every single one.
Yeah. So what do you think? Actually, I guess to back up a bit, being, kind of the last print magazine standing. What's the show like for you?
EGM's got to be quarterly at this point, right?
Well, yeah, it's EGQ. It's a whole different thing.
Don't sue me.
Yeah. He'll find you, man.
Yeah, you will. You will. I probably signed something at some point.
Maybe. You
Don't put
for
this
the week you
online.
worked there. So, like obviously GameInformer.com exists and was just redesigned.
Yes.
I don't mean to say like, hey, all you do is this monthly thing.
No, I get it. That's our main thing. That is our main thing.
Right.
Yes.
So having that be your main thing, I imagine that dictates a lot of how you specifically cover the show. I'm sure, when it comes to hey, write stuff for the website. You got people for that.
Yeah, well, the best thing back in the old days, when, like you said, when the internet was king, you know, before influencers, is that we would go cover things and be like, well, we'll write it later.
Right.
And then go to the parties, and you would be like, we're working all night. And we were like, man, that's a really bad idea. But it's caught up to us now. Like we got to, you got to do the internet. You got to do it all, right? You got to be everywhere. So we do that. But E3's E3. I mean, I think you guys hit the nail on the head. Like, it's not fun for a consumer right now.
Yeah.
It's not fun for journalists. It's not fun for retailers. It's not fun for anybody.
It's just not
fun.
I mean, I saw a lot.
I have fun, but I mean, it's like it doesn't have a mission statement, and I think that's the thing they've been.
You got to
trying
bring
find.
one. You got to bring one, right? Like, so like for us, it's we found the angle we want to ask every developer we talk to, which is like we're all talking about crunch right now. How do you deal with crunch and work-life balance? You find the angle and you hit it. Like
yeah, but I mean, like that's just good reporting.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Like that's not like. That doesn't define E3, right? You know what
If
I
you
mean?
pay $250, there's not much to. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
The,
You're waiting in
the
line.
consumer, I'm
Yeah,
with
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah, yeah.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like it's a different thing.
the Coliseum is a good addition. It like Keely did a good job. Like there's really interesting stuff this year, but like after hours, right? Like there's no tabletop thing. There's no like arcade for you to go
no
to.
karaoke.
You're not going to go to any of the
they
parties.
should have had official E3 karaoke.
Yeah.
It's going to be slow, right? They're going to change slowly. We've talked about this at pre-3.
Right.
Like they're going to take their time. Like we're 2 or 3 years away from it actually being what they want to be. Right. It's a consumer show.
You think it's going to be more days? They're
Yes.
going to keep adding
Oh,
days.
Friday's
yeah.
going to happen at some point,
Friday's
right?
This
I feel like
is-
someone's going to do a press conference last Wednesday.
They'll move it to a
Right.
We're
weekend.
going to be here.
Do you think they'll just Gamescom it though eventually, where it's like
Yeah.
industry first 2 days?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think,
so.
like a mix of Gamescom and Comic-Con.
They need to.
But like they
Yeah,
need
yeah.
to. It
I don't-
should
I
be a
prefer-
good experience. Like that's the thing that makes me angry is that like people that love games come to this thing and like wait in line to see like a 30-second like Kojima video.
it's still a dream, though, right?
You know what I mean? Like it is,
Yeah,
and they
that's
have
the
fun.
thing.
Like they don't hate it.
Yeah, but it's a dream. It's an
But
illusion.
I want it to
I mean,
be
but
cool.
that's the
I want
thing,
video.
though.
I want video game events to be cool.
I
Like,
wish
that's
it
what
was. I wish that the experience that the people that were paying to come here
Yes.
got, the experience they had was the actual dream of kind of what E3 was.
Yeah.
When games were out on the floor.
Yeah.
You know, and you didn't have a lot of stuff behind closed doors. It used to be, when 10 years ago, 11 years ago, whatever, covering the show with GameSpot. We definitely had our appointments, but a lot of the times we would just send people to go play the games because they were out on the floor.
Yeah.
And then when the appointment time came around, it was like, well, I guess we'll capture some footage or maybe do an interview or maybe just cancel this appointment because we just played the game and wrote it up already. We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Even like 5 years ago, I feel like when my first ever E3,
Yeah.
it felt like that.
yeah, there were a lot of games just to
Yeah.
play. And now,
But there were more games then too. To be fair,
yeah,
there were more
yeah,
games. There were
yeah.
less games.
Everyone had
Yeah.
20. Like we have a feature where we watch a lot of old B-roll tapes, and some of those those Capcom tapes from like 2003 and stuff. You're like, they had 1 billion games.
had 1 billion games. They had
and
1
all
billion games,
announced
yeah.
and all coming out. And yeah, it's definitely not like that.
I wonder if that's the thing, though. Do you have to demystify the show for the consumer so that they kind of get it?
I think part of it is some of that stuff that would be out on the floor was a little broken. And so
Yeah.
putting people at the show that don't always see a lot of rough builds of games,
Yep.
it really affects everything. I think the press conferences get affected by that. I think
Everybody's worried about the
games on
misstep.
floor-
Right.
Everybody's
yeah.
totally worried about like it could be the worst thing that happens that you become a meme.
I mean,
Right. Like someone was
Super easy to grab a phone, right?
right and shooting this game and going like, look at Kingdom Hearts, haha, it's hilarious.
I mean,
Yeah.
especially with like all the streamers and influencers here as well. They're
Right.
catching all of that stuff.
Yeah.
yeah.
Not as many selfie sticks. Selfie sticks kind of out. Everyone's back
backpacks.
holding their phones. and-
Backpacks.
Yeah, I guess
Vape
back- yeah.
skins. And Danika's gotten a lot of swag. Every
I've been getting
day.
free swag.
Wow.
That's
Come
my
home.
mission.
Great.
I have a Twitch. See, I'm a Twitch partner. Waypoint's a Twitch partner, so I'm like, here's my name. It's on the account. Can I get into Twitch land?
Wow.
And they let me in, and I'm sitting around like 10 dudes who are like streaming to Twitch IRL,
Yep.
just sitting there.
Doing what? Like, look, I'm in the Twitch.
I'm in the
Not
VIP,
losing-
motherfucker. Like,
They're not losing.
Who's standing next to this dude?
Right, but they're not losing subscribers, and that's
Unlike
the
Ninja.
point.
Oh, yeah.
That's the point.
yeah.
40,000.
40,000
40,000
subscribers.
subscribers.
lost
$160,000 around that
To
area.
be fair, that is a first world problem for Ninja. I mean, 40,000.
Right.
Just
Yes,
to be clear.
yes.
But you can extrapolate because for every ninja, there are 30 people.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
300, 3,000
Yes,
people
yes.
who are
We're
hustling
losing
just as hard.
that 10%
Who are
is gonna
is who?
push them
That's
back.
rent.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
from
yeah.
2K a month to 1,200 a
That
month.
burn rate is
Right.
rough.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that highlights the demand that even publishers face of like, I want everything for free and I want it now and I want it the best way I want it. I mean, even like when Cyberpunk, like we started talking about Cyberpunk, like everyone like saw it and like, this is amazing. And they were like, there's no third person. This is ridiculous.
Right, yeah,
You know what I mean? Like was the like, and I get it. Some people will get sick from first person, and like I don't want to make anybody sick, but like we immediately go to like what is wrong and doesn't like fit my version of what it should be.
Well, especially with
right?
that game where they've given the answer as to why they want it to be in first person.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, right? And
Yep.
they've said like, oh, it's about producing this claustrophobic effect inside, feeling of density, and then also to look up. When you want to look up and be surrounded by these skyscrapers of steel and concrete and make you feel small, because Cyberpunk's about feeling fucking small.
In your underclass, and like
Right.
that's the
Yeah.
that's the
Right.
way
Yeah, but you didn't give me what
understand
I
that.
want.
I want to be third person.
Right. So, I mean, we talked about that demo earlier. I didn't get in to see
Yeah,
it.
please go see that demo.
Go see it.
I'm gonna-
It's,
yeah,
it's the thing to do here.
For you, you and me are on this syndicate grime shit.
That's right.
Get in there.
That shit is my life, man.
I know.
I'm fucking punching deck 24/7.
24/7.
I don't give a fuck.
She hacks this guy so his gun doesn't work. You
Yeah.
heard this already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but
And she stands in front of him, and he's like, click, no, dead.
that's
She
great.
chops his head off with a fucking.
It's wild.
Oh, with like the arm blade
Right.
thing.
And then the thing that makes that game good is you finish that quest, you go outside, and then like the corporate landers come down, and the corporate CEO walks over with like a cigarette and is like, put that out on you. You're nothing to me. You killed that guy, you're as bad and nothing as he is to you. That is you to me. Fuck off.
You saved
and
this
that game
lady's
is great.
life.
Right.
Fucking.
Yes.
The EMTs turn up with guns and they're like, fucking back up.
Oh my
Like,
God.
we're here to fucking save this person's life.
Like so in that world there's insurance, like in our world. If you have good insurance, you have a trauma team.
In your world, aka America.
America, which is a SWAT team that's also a team of paramedics.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying America was a SWAT team. I was like, you know.
You know,
Have you seen Ice?
I've seen that.
you seen
Yeah.
yeah, honestly. And like when you rescue this person, you reconnect her to the network so that her trauma team will come save her. There's a note that's like, oh, she has platinum, which means she'll have 90% of her bill covered, but 10%, even the hyper mega rich of the cyberpunk future
Got
will
that
still
copay.
still have the copay. And then you get her outside and they're like, all right, we're gonna land, and this this ambulance lands, this flying ambulance lands, and then 6 dudes with fucking assault rifles come out and are like, get the fuck back, put her on the ground. I saved her. I'm a good person. No, you're not.
Here to do this for
Yeah.
you. This
No.
is the whole thing.
It's
And
either
that
the
stuff-
greatest smoke and mirrors
Yes.
ever, or it's something really special. This is gonna sound
it's a
fucked
big
up.
check.
It reminded me of the Rage demo, which is like maybe the worst comparison to make. But you remember when that Rage demo was shown?
Did
And, like,
Bethesda pay you for that?
Rage.
One.
Oh, God.
They showed the race, and then you got out of the car and you went in and you talked to that really detailed face, and I was like, this world's gonna be amazing. And then when the game came out, it was like, oh, that was so guided. Either this is, I can't tell.
But they shipped The Witcher 3.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
Their
The
pedigree
that's the
is
thing. The
different.
goodwill puts me there. But they had shipped Quake 3.
Right. And Rage is not a game, or Quake 3 is not a game about a world and talking to people and exploring an environment.
Yes,
and
it
people.
is. Yeah.
I mean,
It's
it's
not
believable from
Oh,
those
I
guys.
talk to those motherfuckers all the time.
It's believable.
I'm cashing my insurance a bit because I'm like, this is either like it's what they're going for in terms of scope is absolutely incredible, and the outdoor like open world elements, I've never seen such a dense city in my life. It was like
in real life.
yeah, right, yeah. I'm from like a very small island.
I guess.
There was a moment when, after our demo where Austin was talking to somebody. We were talking to the creator of Cyberpunk. Somebody. And one of the
CM Punk.
one of the developers came.
Tim.
One of the developers came
won that
up
case.
and was asking, like, what would you think of the demo? I was like, well, I don't know how you're gonna finish that game, honestly. And he just like, that's what we do when we go home.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck to them.
Yeah, no, that sound like that trailer looks incredible. Like every description of the demos just sounded amazing.
Well, and one thing about that demo, when the interview that Austin and I had afterwards, is like, Witcher 3 was a very like political game. Cyberpunk, like as a concept, as a board game, is a very political game, and like we've been asking a lot of developers during our interviews at E3 is like, hey, like politics, capital P politics, is becoming sort of a toxic thing to talk about. The moment you say our game has something to say, you're like afraid a certain segment of quote unquote gamers are going to walk away.
Are we talking about Far Cry 5?
No,
about
we're talking
a lot of things.
We're talking about the Division.
Division 2.
Yeah.
We're not
We're
making
talking about most video games.
Yeah,
Games are imbued with creativity, symbolism, and to pretend
Dig Dug.
that exactly.
Yep.
You dig,
Pac-Man, so
you know.
much in
Yeah,
that.
you dig, and then you dug.
Then you dug.
What about the pukas?
What about them? You inflate them? What's inflation mean to you?
Exactly. Inflation's a real problem.
What do you think when you hear the word? Is it good or is it bad?
It makes me feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we talked to this dude, and he was like, yeah, of course our game has some shit to say. Like, it's a game about the underclass being stepped on. Like, if we don't all agree necessarily, we all have different perspectives about this, but we're creators making a game. He was able to be like, yeah, Cyberpunk grows out of this moment where you're responding to Reagan and Thatcher. Like, he used real people's
You
names.
said an actual politician. Oh
Right.
my
And
God.
that's like awesome. Like,
Hey, guess
you're-
what? Polish millennials, they know a thing or two about fucking politics.
It turns out.
Like,
Yeah.
you grow up in a fucking socialist state, it
Yep,
kinda like,
yep.
you know.
Pay attention to shit.
Yeah, totally.
And the way he concluded sort of that conversation was like, look, we're not going to tell you what our game says, but it says something, and like you figure it out. And it's like, okay, like cool. That's like.
By the way,
bit-
I say that to everybody who talks to me. I'm not going to tell you what it says, but it says something.
When it comes out, it's like, what we're saying is the truth is somewhere in the middle.
well,
The woke gamer.
I don't run that account.
Okay, all right. We were asking recently.
That person
Alex and I
actually is like, like got kicked out of the country
got
due
deported.
to their immigration status. Like,
Yeah, they
like
got.
You should set the,
Ported
what
by
is
ice.
this? What is the woke game?
the Woke Gamer was my deeply hungover going to the PAX East wrestling panels, like texting Austin saying, so like the Woke Gamer, like would that be like like I'm just like working through the character. I'm like, is this funny? And you know, I did my bit. You know, everyone is still with her, right?
Yeah, we're all with her.
Just like in a general her sense.
Like a general sense, yes. We're all with her, generally speaking.
And
With the her in the room, with the her on the couch.
Right,
right,
we're with
yeah,
her.
Right,
her.
yeah,
I'm with
yes.
Danika.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Thank you.
And
That's what my bumper sticker
I
says.
pegged you, so
So he's
I am with her.
yeah, right.
Don't tell my wife or daughter. And yeah, and so the Woke Gamer became this Twitter account that like then took this like the centrist position to a new level. But I occasionally will name search my name to see just like
Okay.
what people are saying.
see.
Oh yeah,
I
oh yeah.
see.
Don't got a problem with it.
okay, good. I'm glad you stepped up.
Don't have a problem with it. And then you'll see, and especially around the time when the Woke Gamer Twitter account started, 'cause people are like, motherfucker, like he thinks that joke is real funny. And I'm like, how many times I gotta say I didn't do that account, but no one's gonna believe me. But yeah, that dude is like a really talented, like funny writer that, yeah, got fucking kicked out of the country because of all the shit going on. And he found his footing, like he's over in the UK somewhere. And yeah, he like
Shout outs to the woke gamer.
Yeah, shout out to the Woke Gamer.
Didn't he
got
get
sent to a third
deported
world
like after
country.
making
Yeah.
a tweet about
Wow,
ice,
wow.
I thought. He made an
I mean, I'm
ice.
not fucking British. But
But still,
I'll stand up for my
British
neighbors.
adjacent.
My neighbors.
Yeah.
He made an ice tweet.
He did not get outed because of his tweets, but
Not like Matt Kessler.
he started tweeting. He like,
Oh yeah.
He was so woke, they had to get him out.
He was
Yeah, pouring out for Matt Kessler.
Yeah.
Killed by @Jack,
that's hey,
Punished gamer.
the punished gamer.
Yes.
that's how it goes. Man. He went down swinging.
He did.
He went down saying what we were all thinking.
Fuck Dave Lang.
It's worth it. It's worth it. So how's the you know, like Andy, what's the rest of the show for you like then? Is I imagine like because the thing I'm hearing from a lot of people is that they're like, we're kind of done.
Yeah, I think there's a kind of done. I think there's
Yeah.
kind of done. I definitely.
In terms of just like, hey, we've seen everything, you know, like you and I and Austin, were, you know, we
did pre-E3,
yeah,
we
went
saw
down.
stuff there, and like,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the month leading up had Call of Duty event, Assassin's Creed event,
Yeah.
Battlefield 5 event. I'm gonna forget events, by the way. Like there were.
Rage 2.
Yeah,
That's
it was
fine.
the Rage
Don't
2
worry
event
about it.
happened. Yeah.
I'd go to it.
So we saw a lot. I mean, you know, everyone's teams went and saw games, got ahead. I mean, I think, like I said, I think E3 is changing
Yeah.
and starting to be more about the last 5 months of the year, right? To be through December and well, obviously in February 22nd.
Well, sure. Yeah.
But over and above that, like I think it's going to start to shorten, and so we're going to start looking at that, and I think it's going to make. I think it's actually interesting. I like the idea of like coming to E3 and having less games to see and having more time to spend time with the people in the industry and the decisions they're making and where
Yeah.
they're going. Because I definitely, we've all done it. Like you start running, you're like trying to see every game at E3, and by the way, that's an impossible task.
Yeah.
I've tried it every year, and I've never been like, I saw them all. What's up?
Right.
Like I'm out.
Don't try
took
it.
every
Don't try it.
appointment.
Yeah, like I'm done. Right?
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
Right. So like I think that change is good. I think it can change the way we look at it, change the way the show comes out. So, but yeah, I I'm moderating a panel tomorrow that I'll screw up horribly because I stayed up too late here. But that's my thing, right? I screw things up. And then it's like I go talk to a couple meetings, see a couple games, and that's it.
Yeah. It's been the nice thing about doing this is because when we first started doing this, I was still also trying to see as many games as possible.
Yeah.
So it was like the days were just like, all right, I got to run from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing, and then I got to get here, and we're gonna do the show, and then at 1 a.m, I'll get back to a hotel, and then go and stare at myself in the mirror for like an hour and a half until I can fall asleep, and then wake up and do it all over again. For 3 days straight, or
3 days straight,
days and all that other stuff. And I think part of it is we have a few more people on staff. We can kind of distribute things around differently. But also it was that feeling of just like, well, we've seen a lot of this stuff before. And as the show changes to be less about always the big new announcements.
Yeah.
Like there are not to say there are none of those, but it used to be you'd walk into the show and like we would take our exhibitor badges and walk around the floor as they were building booths and go, holy shit, just like making mental notes because they don't like it when you're like literally writing notes on the show floor about
that'll get security over to you in no time. It really
like
will.
Just walking around like acting like I'm walking to my booth and walking past Nintendo and going, holy shit. And you'd see 20 or 30 games.
You would.
Like, these we didn't even know these existed. We need to get back and add them to the list and make sure someone goes out and plays them and all that other stuff. It's just not that show anymore.
It's not that show. And the thing is too, it's not those games anymore. I think an interesting example of that is The Last of Us. I was talking to Evan, and I was like, I got all these questions for you. And he's like, really? Do you want me to answer them? I'm like, no, I don't want you to answer any of them. I really don't. Like, I don't know why I'm asking him. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Like the game, I already know I like The Last of Us, right? Yeah. Like everyone here, like, do you want to play the next Last of Us?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, you do. You know what I mean? And like, I think they're learning that like, they're making more sophisticated games, right? And they're doing more sophisticated things that they know that like, we don't necessarily need to show us everything, right? Like we don't have to like have every detail explained to us. We're gamers.
Okay, but how many guns are in The Last of Us? Can
Dude,
you give me all the weapons?
Dude,
how many
check my
maps
Gun of the
does it
Month
have?
feature.
Can I play first
yeah,
person?
that's
I
not what
fucking hate
defines
third
it,
person.
right?
Yeah.
And that's the crazy. Well, that's the thing. Like the Ubisoft Division 2 demo drives me crazy because they show that video. They're like, this is apocalyptic Earth, and it's like I live here, man. Like every game, like I don't need a sizzle reel about apocalyptic Earth. Like I know that spot. I've been there, right? And like the games got to move on. They got to find different ways. But they also got to just like find new ways to entertain us at like E3 because it's different.
Right.
Games are different. They've changed.
Well, yeah, with games getting just more and more of a narrative focus, even like there's just simply things that they're not going to tell you and you don't want to know.
Yeah.
Especially with a game like The Last of Us, where you're like, no, don't walk me through. Like, and then what are the questions? You're just like, how many ways can I strangle someone? Like it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
The preview writing style of old. We've negotiated with Rockstar to do the best rims in GTA 4 on this car. These are the sweetest rims in the game. We're pretty sure, but come back tomorrow because those might be even sweeter. And like that stuff just doesn't exist anymore, and it's great. It's nice to be able to and I think like a lot of the larger publications, I think have figured that out too. Is just like that style, like whatever. We spent years taking as many screenshots of wrestling games as we could. It was like, oh, the embargo's up. We put up 1,000 shots of this game. You want to see Triple
But by
H?
the way, people love that. Back in the day, like that was the shit.
You want to talk about how to build a website into the leading destination for gaming information? It's wrestling screenshots. That's it. That's all it ever was. We put up 100 screenshots of Ocarina of Time when their embargo went up with the review that I wrote. And I took all 100 of those screenshots, and that seemed insane at the time. And then it was less than 2 or 3 years later, it was like, 1,000 shots of these wrestlers. And also, we already have a bunch of shots because we did wrestling entrance of the day features.
I read that. I watched it.
Yeah, no, it was great. You were like, how does Scotty 2 Hottie walk to the ring?
Load up real player.
Yeah.
More of a Grandmaster Sexay kind of guy, actually.
I mean, honestly, yeah. But you know how he walks. You know it's going to be well represented in the
Intimately.
game. Yeah.
Kyle, are you trying to see everything? Are you doing?
Yeah, like that's the thing. You know.
I feel like we're like medium fresh.
Yeah.
They are well aged, and you're established.
Sure.
We just got called well-aged.
Like a wow.
Like a fine wine, like a fine wine.
But you were
like leather.
You and I kind of
Like a
fit in a
whiskey.
similar time zone. You're still very fresh.
Yeah.
Are you still trying to hustle, and how do you do that at this point?
It's hard because the first show that I did back like 5 years ago, it was literally me doing the whole show.
Right.
With no appointments, walking up at the Figueroa Hotel like, hey.
I'm sure that went really well.
Oh yeah, they were like, who in the fuck is this? Why are you here and why are you hovering? And because I didn't know how to do anything yet, I was like, I don't know how to network. I'm just gonna stand next to you and smile.
That's how you do, as it turns out. That's all. I don't know how to. I mean,
I actually think that doesn't work.
Yeah.
okay, well, I stand near people.
It's better than screaming at them, that's for sure.
Totally doesn't work. But yeah, we're at this point now. We're trying to still figure out how to cover the show in a reasonable way with everything else that we're trying to fight, because podcasting isn't really popping like it used to be in the same ways that the Twitch and everything else is kind of moving. So we're trying to fight not being in a bad platform, in a bad media space, while also trying to figure out how to divvy up work assignments and also trying to put everything out on everything at the same time, while trying to give Patreon folks something to look at also on the side.
It becomes a lot of just like, okay, we've got this many like production resource, we can spend this much time making the content and then this much time seeing stuff to make the content. And finding that split is,
it's madness, because the crazy thing is, and the interesting part about it is, there isn't really a way to determine what the audience needs and how quickly they need it yet. Because you can get it from most places fairly fast. If you have a big team, IGN, GameSpot, those folks have a team somewhere else sitting in a room cranking out stuff. Our squad is three folks who have 9-to-5 jobs, who have bad feet, who are trying to figure it out on the fly. And like try to walk as much as we possibly can so that we can finish to go the next day and do it again.
Well, you're doing something right. You're here.
Yeah, this is bucket list stuff. I'm checking.
Also messed up your eye. You need to explain that.
Oh, well, yeah. I messed up my eye and I split my pants. That's the reason I'm sitting in the back row. But
I wasn't sure if he was going to say the splitting his pants
I mean,
thing, but he did.
Explain your eye, though.
I've been there.
yeah, so Monday.
I see your leg. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
Oh, shit.
so like Monday, Monday we finish our our Xbox post-show stuff. We go outside, we finish the recording. I'm putting stuff in my bag, and there's planters outside the Staples Center. So they have like these kind of like spiky plants that are outside there. So I'm bending down, I have on glasses. I bend down to go put something in my bag and boop, right in the eye. Right? So I'm like,
I forgot what the story was. I was like, oh yeah, he split his pants.
I thought I was going to go his pants too. I was reading
Why are we talking about his eye? Why are we talking about his eye?
Or you heard that story on
this is Dead Space 2 DLC. So this is like,
That hurts.
Yeah, it
That
hurt a lot. So like I'm walking around with a weepy red eye. Looks like someone punched me. I look like LeBron. So I'm walking around like this, hanging out, chilling, walking down the street.
Break your hand, too?
Yeah, and it's like thumping too. So I'm like walking around and I'm like, all right, so people are like, what the fuck is wrong with Kaz's eye? Like, did someone like beat you up and like not, and you didn't say anything? You're like trying to play hard? And I was like,
Video games.
yeah, video games are rough. And
Heated gamer
and it was like that for about that for 3 days. And I was supposed to host a thing tonight, and I told the folks, I was like, I can't do it because my eye is all bugged out and it's not doing well. I don't want to be on camera, and it's not gonna look good when you look like you just got into a fight.
You're on camera right now.
Or it will
But it's
look
fine now.
absolutely good.
It's
or it will
fine
look
now.
good.
Like it turned out to be okay now, but for like 3 days, I was walking around, and the weird thing is like you don't know that your eye is really jacked up until you look at it in a mirror, and you're just like, all right, I feel like things are wrong. But when you see it, you're just like, no, that's wrong. That's not okay.
You're
Like,
not seeing in the look of everyone's face, and they go, hey, oh.
well, the weird thing is you go through weird stages. So you're like, all right, so now it feels like there's something in it, so that's not good. Then you're just like, oh, it feels really dry, that's not good. But then your face just contorts and does things it's not supposed to do. So you're kind of just looking at people like, you're kind of just like staring at people in a weird way. Yeah, you kind of give them stank eye, but it's also stank red.
They think
like,
that's your interest look.
Yeah,
They're
they're like, he's really like digging this stuff. And I was like, no, my eye really hurt.
Should have just gone the cosplay route. Get an eye patch.
I was hoping Skull and Bones would hook me up.
Yeah.
Punished cop.
Get a Majima eye patch at the Sega booth.
Yeah. So it was a little bit rough for the first group, and that was like literally the first thing that happened. I've had bad stuff on the past couple of conferences that I've been to.
It's
A lot of pants splitting. GDC, first night, pants.
I'm trying to remember which.
Do you pack extras now? Have you learned your lesson? Or you're like, no.
No.
I split my pants at something. I think it was like GDC when it was in San Jose or something. I was down there to moderate a panel.
Yeah.
And I think they got caught on something
Yep.
and just like tore like from here, like the leg all the way out.
Like
and,
front.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that would have been the 90s. That was totally a look then.
Yeah, it ended up. I mean, also I was standing behind a podium, so it was a thing of just like, okay, I can hold this together in a way that only looks sort of weird, and then I can get behind this podium and be like, it'll be okay.
Flash the thigh.
Yeah,
only if you
exactly.
need
And then
cheers.
yeah,
Only if you need
and then
extra
just
applause.
like peek it out from the
Let 'em know.
the side a little bit and be like,
Yes,
hello.
yes.
That. Like,
I get
know
that-
we're talking about encryption techniques and anti-piracy techniques on the PlayStation 1, but hello. It was
I
a weird
ripped
panel.
either the first time I was on this couch or the last time, the day I was like, oh, I gotta go, everybody, bye. Huge rip, just crotch open. So, it worked out. I don't know.
You gotta let them.
Good luck.
Congratulations, everyone.
All right. Well, I think we have to wrap it up for the night here. Actually, Andy, I have one more question
Okay,
for you.
yes.
This is sometimes I turn to you for advice because you've been doing this for
Well,
some
funny,
time.
because I
now.
turned to you for advice.
All right.
Two wise men.
How much more you got in you? How many more years? What do you think?
I don't know.
When are we getting out of this?
When Dan left, did you get a couple more years?
Yeah, when we stole Reichert off your hands, that was, I mean, you win in that scenario.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah. I remember getting the text, and I think you're just like, hey, good luck with that.
No, I mean, I definitely go like, this is a crazy industry. It's a crazy changing industry. I can't believe where it's going. But I think everyone in video games is so interesting. I think that's the thing that brings me back is that, and number two, I go like, well, Jeff hasn't quit yet. We're gonna have a head-to-head. Like I can't let him win, right?
See,
we're gonna keep going.
I used to think of Andy Eddy as that guy. As long as Andy Eddy is still writing,
Like I'm not stopping.
then
right?
I guess I'm here.
And then the other side too is I go like, I don't know how to do anything else.
Yep.
Yeah. And you're like, hey everybody, video game editor.
Yeah. You just parlay that right into the next phase, and all right. Well, we'll start a consulting firm. And,
Yeah, I know.
and make the real money for a change. And,
Well, you know what people couldn't learn from the two of us.
yeah, it'll be you there, and then just me just going like, no, your game's bad. It's bad. You got to fix that shit. Don't put it out like this.
You were we get a check
with that
please?
Yeah, exactly. That's $200,000. Thank you.
Burnout Paradise.
I'm glad we have
yeah.
a plan.
All right,
We have a
great.
plan.
All right,
I'm in.
all right.
I'm
Okay.
in. I'm
Next
in.
phase, we're ready.
We'll start working on the marketing campaign. soon,
Terrific.
Yeah.
Also,
All right.
write a book. Write a
Name of the
Okay,
company?
yeah. The company, your game is bad. Nothing attracts business. See, you got to neg these video game
Straightforward, yeah.
companies. The whole thing.
Hard neck.
Whack
Yeah.
Juice
Can
Inc.
you just
Kahlief, thanks for coming out.
Thank you so much for having me.
Danny, your Patreon is in Patreon stores now.
Yeah, exactly. Go to patreon.com to see Patreon.
Great.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure as always.
Yeah. Austin, Patrick, Danika, always a pleasure to see you.
Always good to be here.
What's up with this cucumber sitch?
It's good. This
It's been
is so
soaking,
good.
It's been soaking in vodka Red Bull for the last 30 minutes.
I would eat these every minute.
I would watch that.
Just make it happen.
Yeah. All
Now
right.
that's the real video game.
Okay. Great.
Oh, damn.
I don't even like cucumbers, but that.
You would like this.
Okay.
A
great.
lot.
I like vodka. I like Red Bull.
I'll put one in here.
Okay. Well.
Okay.
All right.
I got you.
Let's go have some fun.
Let's go have some fun. It's midnight. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks to everybody who came through. A tremendous cavalcade of guests tonight. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. for the final night of E3 2018. That's 6 p.m. Pacific time. Don't miss it. That's it. Just don't miss it. Please come back. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming out, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Yep.